Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll chant chapter 15, verses 1 to 5 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Urdhvamulamadash-shakham Ashvatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi yasya parnani Yastam Veda sa Vedavid Adhaschordhvam prasrutastasya shakaha Guna pravruddha vishaya pravalaha Adhascha mulanyanu Karmanubandhini manushya-loke Na rupamasyeha tatopalabhyate Nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha Ashvatthaменam suvirudhamulam Asangashastrena drudhena chitva Tatah padam tatparimargitavyam Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah Tameva chadyam purusham prapadye Yata pravritti prasrita purani Nirmana-mohajita sangadoshaha Adhyatma-nitya vinivriddha-kamaha Dvandvair-vimukta sukha-dukkha-sanyaihi Gacchantya-mudha padam-avyayam tat.
We have covered up to Shloka number 2 in this chapter, Purushottama Yoga. Purushottama Yoga means the yoga of Supreme Being, the Supreme Reality beyond this manifest world and the supporting and manifest. So already in the 9th chapter we saw, he talks about two unmanifested beings beyond the manifested being. So here he talks about Kshara, Akshara and Uttama Purusha in this chapter. Kshara meaning the manifested world, Akshara the unmanifest, imperishable support, substratum, and Uttama Purusha the supreme reality beyond both. So now from verses 1 to 6 he talks about Brahman is macrocosm. It is that supreme reality that has manifested as macrocosm. Then from 7 to 11 he talks about Brahman as the microcosm. Both put together is Kshara. Then he goes on to talk about Akshara, which is the unmanifest, imperishable substratum. And that is also something that we are conceiving. So Brahman is Achintyam. It is inconceivable. It is even beyond. So he then goes to say that the supreme Brahman is beyond Kshara and Akshara. So now in this, the first two shlokas that we have seen, he gives the example of a tree, Ashwatha tree, people tree, and he says the root is above, right? Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakam. He is taking this tree to represent this samsaric world. So, with that example, he is explaining to us. Urdhva Moolam. Moolam means the root, the cause. And he says it is Urdhva. Urdhva means upar. It is higher. Adha Shakam, branch below. So he's talking about a tree whose root is above and branch below. So then a lot of people start drawing the picture of a tree which is inverted. What he's trying to say is that infinite Brahman, the Moolam, is what has manifested as this world. So the effect is the world and the cause is Brahman. Now when we try to find the source for this world, how this world could have come about, initially we say world is created by God. So we just swallow it, we accept it. Oh, okay. God created this world. Theek hai. Now, first of all, who is this God? Is this God Mr. or Mrs. or what is it? You understand? Is it something beyond Mr. and Mrs.? Nobody knows. And where was this God while creating this world? Who created that place in which God was residing? So there won't be any answer. So in the book Vedanta Treatise, Swamiji nicely explains. He says when you say God created this world, it is like saying in maths, when you don't know the answer, you say, let us assume that the answer is X. X when they say X doesn't mean they have found out the answer. The X has to be, X is now unknown. It needs to be solved. You understand? So when they say God has created this world, it has answered nothing. But many of us, we take it and say, oh, thank you very much, I understood. Nothing we understood. So Vedanta says, listen, you observe this world, it seems to be going on endlessly. Time is going on eternally. Space is going on endless, without boundary, right? All pervading. And causation chain is going on and on and on. Backwards, if you go, who's my father's first father? I don't know. I can't trace beyond a certain level. Similarly, this way, where is it going to go on and on? No idea. Causation seems to be stretching endlessly. So this world which is infinite, how it could come from finite? It could have not come from finite. So then they say it has come from something infinite. What is what we have called as God. And then they say this world that you see is constantly changing. Change is not possible to be noticed without a changeless reference. And that changeless reference is that Brahman, reality, which is formless, has no beginning, no end. So it is not that that infinite created this world. If you say that infinite created this world, then it would amount to say that is not infinite because it is limited and it has something lacking and therefore it needs to create to feel satisfied, to feel complete. So therefore it could not create the world. You understand? It is infinite. So what is the need for it to create the world? So therefore, Vedanta says, listen, this is something that has come out like a rope being on the ground, from which the snake comes about due to misunderstanding, which comes from non-understanding. Not understanding the rope as a rope gives rise to misunderstanding of the snake. So the snake has come from the rope. Like that, from Brahman, this universe has come through non-apprehension and misapprehension. So the moolam, the cause is Brahman. When they say cause is Brahman, what cause? There are two types of cause we generally talk about. Upadana karanam, nimitta karanam. What is that? Material cause and intelligent cause. Material cause is Prakriti or Maya. All this we studied in 14th chapter, in the very beginning. Okay. Third and fourth shloka there, we studied in the 14th chapter. If you haven't grasped it, go back and listen to the class. So, from Prakriti, Maya, this Sukshma Prapancha comes and then Stula Prapancha comes. Subtle world and gross world. Okay. So, material cause is Maya Shakti or Prakriti. And material cause, Maya Shakti, is Jada, means insentient. When Purusha, the pure consciousness, reflects through that, it gains sentiency. So he says, Prakriti is my womb in which I sow the seed, is what we studied in 14th chapter. I am the seed giving father. Okay. So what he's saying, the self-conscious principle reflecting through the material cause, Maya, this whole universe has come about. Okay. So, Purusha is the intelligent cause, Prakriti is the material cause, and Prakriti or Maya Shakti is the inherent potential in Ishvara. Right? Ishvara is what? Purusha and Prakriti together. Like a painter, in him or her, the inherent potential of painting resides. In a dancer, the inherent potential of dancing resides. Like that, in Brahman, the inherent potential of Prakriti remains, which when manifests has come out as this universe. Okay. And all he wants to say in these two shlokas is, we meaning the jivas, are part of this manifested world. We are lost in this manifestation. We need to, through Shastra, understand this and go beyond it and identify with the root, Brahman or God. So that X, that God, is nothing but that infinite reality from which this entire universe has come about. So we say this world has manifested from God, who is unmanifest, and also the God in the form of consciousness has enlivened this world and it is pervading this world. Wherever you see the reflected consciousness, it is all nothing but the what? Proof of consciousness. And this whole universe is full of this reflected consciousness. Now this he beautifully brings out in this example of Ashwatha. So what he says is, Urdhva Moolam Adashakam. Upar Brahman, Niche activities. The world is nothing but activities, na? So activities, the branch. And he says, Ashwatam Prahu Avyayam. Prahuhu means they say. They means in the Shastras, in the Upanishads, in the Vedas. Masters have said, it is Avyayam. Avyayam means what? Going on and on, continuing. Right? So, you find this world also seems to be stretching. Huh? So, he says, Avyayam, Urdhva Moolam, Adashakam, Ashwatam. This people tree is Avyayam. This world is Avyayam. Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. Chandas means the hymns of Vedas, which is what I just spoke to you as the reflected consciousness. When the pure consciousness, divinity, strikes the thoughts, then you say, I know. Right? So all our knowledges are what knowledge? Reflected knowledge or conditioned knowledge. All these are called as what? The leaves, he says. The leaves are the hymns of Vedas. This is one interpretation we saw. And also another interpretation for the leaves is the Karma Kanda. When he says Vedas means he's talking about the ritualistic portion. What do the ritualistic portion do? They give you mantras and techniques to be followed to fulfill your desires. Right? You have desires and you do those activities prescribed in the Karma Kanda portion the way it is prescribed, and then you achieve those desires. And when you achieve those desires, what happens? It produces more desires. And you constantly run. You become attached to what you have. You crave for more. You are anxious. You are worried. You are lost in samsara. You create more and more and more and more. It's not enough for you. So you continue. So what is the reason for this tree of samsara to survive? The leaves. Leaves play a very important role in the tree's survival. Like that, the Karma Kanda portion, the rituals, the desire fulfilling activities are the ones which is making sure that this samsara continues. Therefore, he compares the leaves to Karma Kanda portion. So, Chandamsi Yasya Parnani, Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. This is seen by the seers of Vedas. Vedavit means the essence of Veda, they know. So he says, he who knows that, meaning who understands this, understands what? Brahman is the substratum. This is only a superimposition. And he is not getting caught in this samsara. That is what it means. He who knows does not mean he who has understood the shloka and can go and give lecture here and there. That is of no use. Here when he says he who knows, Vedavit. Vedavit means one who knows the essence of Veda. Who is the one who knows the essence of Veda? Even through the changing samsara, identifying with the changeless reality, substratum, as he is seeing the whole thing going on, he is able to identify with that witnessing Chaitanya, Sakshi Chaitanya, witnessing consciousness within, which is the substratum, unmanifest root. Right? So, in fact, in our other classes, especially in Saturday class, we do this book, Vedanta Treatise. We are also there studying this chapter called Maya every Saturday morning. Now, before this chapter, Maya, we studied theory of perception. Now, all these are connected. It's important to understand. Therefore, I'm bringing all this. So now, this manifested world is what? Objects and beings. Right? And when you say objects and beings, the beings are experiencing the objects. So when we are experiencing this object, whatever is experienced we call as object, whatever is experiencing we call as the experiencer. So we are the experiencer, world is the experienced object. Now, if that definition we take, that which can be objectified is different from the subject, then we can also experience this body. So then this body becomes the object, mind becomes the subject. That mind also can be experienced. Right? Mind also can be experienced. Then who is the subject? Vedanta says when you go deeper, that consciousness is the subject. You are conscious of the mind, you're conscious of the body, you're conscious of the objects. That consciousness is the subject. That consciousness can never become the object. You can never know it. That's why we say it is not something that you can know. It is something that makes you know everything. It is because the consciousness is enlivening my eyes, I can see. It is because the consciousness is enlivening my ears, nose, tongue, skin, mind. I am able to see, hear, smell, taste, touch, feel, think, etc. So therefore, it is not an object of comprehension. It is the subjective apprehension. You cannot know it. You can only become it. That is that consciousness. So what Vedanta says is, when you are seeing, when you are experiencing this world, what is happening? Can you experience the world even if the object is there, if the mind is not there? Can you experience? I am talking, the sound is entering your ears, your mind is somewhere else. Will you register this? You won't. So the mind has to be there. Right? Then you see the object. And when you see the object, we are now under the illusion that we are all seeing the same object. But if I ask you to describe that, then you will talk about it in a particular way. Then I understand that you are color blind. There are certain shades of color you don't see. I may be seeing. So I am seeing a world according to my mind. You are seeing a world according to your mind. So we are now thinking that the qualities are outside, which I am experiencing as the object. But then I begin to understand the qualities are projected by my mind. And then I'm seeing the object. Okay. Now when it is projecting, what is it projecting upon? When a movie is being projected, it is projected upon a screen. Right? So Vedanta says the mind is projecting upon the consciousness only. Okay. And behind the mind, there is consciousness. Behind my mind, which is experiencing the object, there is consciousness. I'm conscious of that object. Behind your mind, in everybody's mind, there is consciousness. Okay. So this consciousness, then the next question comes, are they different from each other? The consciousness behind me and the consciousness behind you, are they different from each other? Some philosophers like Plato and all say they are different. But Vedanta says, listen, Swami Ramtita beautifully explains. He says, listen, you cannot say that. You bring about the difference. When you talk about the difference can be brought about only with reference to the qualities. Right? When you say this table is different, or that sofa, on what basis? The qualities. Are you with me? When the qualities are separated, what remains is, are you with me? When you say my mind is conscious of that object, what is that object? Qualities. And those qualities are there in your mind as the thoughts, which are the qualities. To remove that, what remains is consciousness. Similarly, in you, in me, when you remove the qualities, only consciousness remains. Then how do you bring about the differences? The differences cannot be brought about without bringing the qualities. And that consciousness is without qualities. It is nirguna. Do you get it? If it is nirguna, then there is no difference. So the consciousness in you, the consciousness in me are one and the same. So that consciousness is beyond the body, beyond the mind. It is everywhere. So on that consciousness, which is even beyond the mind is projecting the object. So the explanation given by Vedanta in Vedantic theory of perception is that when there is action from outside the consciousness, there is reaction within in the consciousness. In this action and reaction, the mind comes about. As the mind comes, the object comes. As soon as the mind comes, the object comes. You notice this now. When you ask, when did this world begin? What would you say? The world began when I woke up this morning, or woke up this afternoon, or woke up just now in the class. Suddenly you could have gone off to sleep, especially this fellow is talking about consciousness and this and that. Right? So you could have gone off to sleep, especially if it was a very tiring day for you. So when you wake up, suddenly, the moment you wake up, your mind comes and the world comes. Mind and world always come together. When you are in deep sleep, there is no mind, there is no world. So what Vedanta says, this consciousness is what is there everywhere, which is beyond qualities. And in this consciousness, there is action from outside, and as a result, reaction from within. In this action reaction, like in the vast ocean, water colliding with each other, waves come about. Right? So one wave is mind, other is, what do you call the other wave, object, they collide and the experiences go on. So like that, what Vedanta is saying is, action and reaction, mind come out. When the mind comes, instantly the qualities are projected, object is projected. That is what you are experiencing. So object and the mind both put together is what we call as what? World. Here for discussion we took one mind. Now that if you have understood the concept, now you can spread varieties of minds, which is the variety of beings. It's not like when the waves collide with, water collides with each other, only one wave comes. So only waves come. Like that, in consciousness, in the play of consciousness, right, the minds have come and objects have been projected. So therefore, what he's saying is, once this is projected, we are lost in this world. To be lost. But there are Vedavit. Vedavit means those who have seen those who understood the essence of Vedas. They have gone inside and remaining as Sakshi Chaitanya and watching all this tamasha, and they have understood that it is all nothing but the play of consciousness. Okay. So that is what he's saying. Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. He who knows that gains the wisdom of Vedas. Wisdom of Vedas means this liberation, moksha. They don't get influenced, affected by this play. If you know, you don't get affected. If you don't know, you get affected. Isn't it? See, with children, we play this game. No? They wear a mask of a ghost. The parents, father or mother, they wear the mask of a ghost. And the child gets afraid, scared. And then you remove the mask, and then child smiles, laughs. And once the child knows that you're playing, then child says, again you wear it. Right? So you wear it. And child comes and removes and laughs. You wear it, child comes, removes, laughs. Means what? The child knows that it is my father only. who is wearing this mask of a ghost. So it is Brahman only which is now wearing this mask of a samsara, which is coming and troubling me now because I didn't know this. Once I know, I will also laugh. That's what he's saying. Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. So these Vedavits, they know. The shloka, he says, Adashchodvam prasutastasya shaka. So he's explaining this samsara even more in the second shloka. First of all, the word Ashwatha means that which does not remain the same tomorrow. It constantly keeps on changing. Constantly changing itself, it continues to remain. That is what this Ashwatha tree is, and that is what this world is also. Isn't it? So he says, its branches spread below and above. Adas chordvam prasritas tasya shakaha. Shakaha means in plural. Earlier he said in singular, now in plural. So he says, its branches spread below and above. And urdhvam means below and urdhvam means above. Its branches are going lower, niche or upar. And then nourished by the gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Vishaya pravalaha, guna pravriddha, vishaya pravalaha. Vishaya pravalaha, vishaya means sense object. Pravala means, so from the main branch, the small branch comes out. Okay, and some branches are going up, some branches are going down. Propelled by the gunas. Sattva, rajas, tamas, gunas, which has manifested from the Maya. Maya is called as Trigunatmika. Understand? With three gunas in Maya, in Prakriti, which is what is manifested as Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And each one of are a combination of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. All this we studied in 14th chapter. So, if you are predominantly sattvic, you will be doing activities which will take you towards Brahman, evolutionary. Rajasic, stagnating. Tamasic, devolving. You understand? So that's what he's saying. Some go up, some go down. Properly, gunas. And Vishaya pravalaha. Vishaya means sense objects. Object are the buds, he says. Now, from the main branch, when a starts, first it comes out as a bud. And that is what grows as a branch. So now he is comparing that bud to sense objects. Why sense objects? When I see the sense object, then what happens? I develop the desire. Understand? I also want to have it. Janati ichchati. After knowing, I want it, desire. Then karoti. Then I do action. So the action is the branches. You understand? Which is coming out. So how the actions come? Like in the pineapple and the tree poem also he says, no. The sight of our foolish heart in flames will long for pineapples in flames. Ravana was told by Surpanaka about Mother Sita. And Ravana desired Sita and he did all kinds of things which destroyed him. Right? So therefore he compares the buds to the sense objects. So he says, Vishaya pravalaha adascha moolan anusantatani Karmanubandhini manushya loke. In this next line, what he's saying is, now he's talking about mulani. Mulani means plural. From the branches, secondary roots come. And the secondary roots are what? Vasanas. Okay. These secondary roots go and hold on to the earth. If you see those Ashwatha tree, the secondary roots go and cling to the earth and holds the tree tightly. So it's the vasanas that is holding this samsara tightly. Right? These secondary roots come from what? Our actions. You studied in Vedanta treatise the chronology of action. What does it say? From vasana comes thought. From thought comes desire. From desire comes action. And from action comes vasanas. So from the ignorance of Brahman, thought comes, desire comes, action comes, and those actions produce further vasanas. This is the secondary roots, right? So that is what he's saying. Adascha mulan anusantatani karma anubandhini manushya loke. So what does it do? The roots stretch below as actions binding men in this world. We are all samsaric cycle, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam, without knowing all this. So it is one thing to study, understand with this example, and then we have to do manana and nidhyasana with it again and again. Then when I see things and I am getting lost in it, quickly I will recover. You understand? There is one Swami in Chennai, Paramarthananda ji. He uses the word FIR. FIR means frequency, intensity, recovery. Frequency of anger, jealousy, greed, whatever it may be, what we call as samsara, worry, anxiety, should reduce. And the intensity also should reduce. And even if it happens, the recovery time should reduce. Slowly there come a time where this doesn't come only. So the more and more you begin to understand this, what he's saying in these shlokas, you should file FIR. Understand? First information report is what FIR means in the worldly sense. But in the Vedantic sense, the frequency of getting involved and the intensity when you get involved should reduce, and you quickly recover also. The recovery time also should be less and less and less. And there should come a time where there's no need to recover because you never fall. Then you become Vedavit. So this is what he's saying. When you don't understand this, what happens? You get involved. You see something, you run. But when you understand this, you see, Acha, what I'm seeing as sense object is actually nothing but manifestation of that Brahman. Are you with me? So therefore he's saying you must focus, study, reflect upon these things again and again and again and become Vedavit. So beautifully he says its branches spread below and above, nourished by the gunas qualities. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, with buds as the sense objects and roots stretching below as actions binding men in the world. What is binding you? Your vasanas. Duties. I have to do. You get bound. In the Ashtavakra Gita, beautifully says Ashtavakra says, Kartavya Dukkha Martanda. He is saying, what he's saying in that shloka is, Kartavya Dukkha. Kartavya means duty. This duties bring dukkha, so sorrow. Like the heat of the sun's rays bringing sorrow to you. Right? Jwala, the jwala of the sun's rays, Martanda jwala. Right? It brings sorrow. Like that, this kartavya, duty sense, brings sorrow. What he's trying to say in that shloka is that he's not saying don't do duties. But what is the difference between duty and samsara? When your duty or duties are coupled with worries and anxieties, it's called samsara. When your duties are not coupled with worries and anxieties, it is not samsara. So, Vedanta is talking about samsara means not that it's asking you to stop your duties. That feeling that you are doing everything. While you are not understanding that due to ignorance, this whole thing has come about. Right? And then you get involved and say, I am this individual, instead of I am the Atma Brahman. Then I say, I am doing it, I am Karta. Kartrutvam aa jayega. With Kartrutva, when you do Kartavyam, it brings the sorrow like this. Then what is the solution to that? Ashtavakra says in that shloka itself. He says, the nectarine rain of the consciousness or the bliss within is the solution for it. So when you gain that knowledge and you understand that you are that main root, without understanding the main root, which is unseen, you lost in this seen world and created these subsidiary roots. This is why you are lost. Once you understand this, right? It's like a person who's been suffering in that duty, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. What is the solution? Understanding that I am not the doer. I am Atma, the consciousness. I am not the Karta. That is the cool nectarine rain. So when I see the root, I understand, I begin to understand. So what is this whole, though it talks about the Ashwatha tree and all that, what is it asking mainly to focus upon? That root which is not seen. ऊर्ध्व मूलम. आपका ध्यान को ऊर्ध्व में रखने के लिए भगवान ये श्लोका दिया है. ऊर्ध्व मूलम अधशाकम. Right? So if your thoughts starts going downwards, you create samsara. If your thoughts starts going upwards, you escape samsara. It's as simple as that. That is why he is saying Purva Moolam Adashakam. Now, it's not like there is a tree down this thing. And also we use the word avatara. When you say avatara, what does it mean? Avatarati iti avatara. Avatarati iti avatara means that which comes down. You understand? So this world is what has come down, which is nothing but an avatar of God. You can look at it that way also, if you want to. It's all nothing but God. Right? So therefore, once you understand it this way, the same samsara will be like the mask the father is wearing. Will not bother you anymore. You won't get scared. Today you are scared. क्या होगा अगर I die? If I die, if they throw me out of job, कोरोना टाइम में यही हुआ था. Understand? अरे बाप रे, हर जगह में ऐसा हो रहा है. People are losing jobs. Everybody is getting pink slips. You know, it will happen. It will happen. So, what is giving you that pain, that samsara, that worry and anxiety is because of the kartritva bhav, which comes because you haven't understood this. So more and more when you reflect, you'll be in that cool nectarine rain, like Sage Ashtavakra says. So that's why this whole picture is given. Now you can even draw in your house on a paper and stick it there. Understand, figuratively. So this is how, due to ignorance of that main root, this whole samsara has come. Then the subsidiary roots come because I'm running and creating vasanas. So if I start shifting my attention from downward towards the worldly objects and beings, towards Brahman, right? To that extent, I won't create subsidiary roots. When slowly, I don't create fresh roots, and I'm also not strengthening the existing subsidiary roots, what will happen to the tree? Fall. You understand? That's all he's saying. Yes, Rajivji, you have a question?
Well, during our obligatory duties with the samsara, for the samsara, whosoever it is, we get stressed from the expectations of the others. whether it is office, home, or anywhere else. So, how do we tackle that expectations?
You are not affected. Rajivji's question is during doing our obligatory duties, assuming we are only doing obligatory duties, we are also doing all other things anyway. Assuming that we are only doing obligatory duties, while doing an obligatory duties, other people have a lot of expectations. Family has expectation, and a boss has expectation. Everybody has expectations. So we get troubled by that. How to escape that? If you carefully analyze, is it because of boss's expectation? Is it because of your wife, children, in-laws, parents, others' expectation that you are suffering? Why are you really suffering?
In
Why?
order to meet their expectation.
You are putting pressure on yourself to meet that expectation by you getting attached and involved. If you don't get attached, their expectations, let it be. You will assess your personality. You will see how much you are capable of acting. What is that you can produce at this moment? With this, supposing your family expects you to buy a Rolls Royce car. Now, you think with your work you could buy only some other car. Family will have their expectations. Why you have to stupidly get involved in their expectations? You do the assessment. So you don't get attached there. Then you won't get affectation. Affectation is not because of their expectation. It is because of your lack of assessment and your attachment to their expectations and to the samsara. They will have their expectations. What you can do? They'll continue having your expectations. Rajuji.
Yes, sir.
So you are not affected because of their expectations. You are getting involved in that samsara. You are taking it upon in your head, man. It's called samsara. Samsara is only in your head, nowhere else. If you take it, it becomes samsara. If you keep it down, it's not samsara. If you have this knowledge, you'll keep it down. If you don't have this knowledge, you will take it upon your head. Then you will also run. So what he's trying to say is, you know, we have created this samsara through our ignorance. And we can only come out of this samsara by understanding. That's all he's saying here. That is why he's asking us to understand. Once you see that it is my father, thereafter, every time he wears that mask, I don't get scared. It will become tamasha for him. So with that understanding, now I go and do my duty. And I am not doing to satisfy anybody. I don't come under that pressure at all. I am not even doing to fulfill anything. I am doing it out of fulfillment. This is what we are studying in Bhagavad Gita. Out of fulfillment, I go and do to the best of my ability. Whatever comes, comes. Then I will enjoy. And in fact, maximum best comes out from me only during that time. When I put expectation and say, I must achieve this, then I get result oriented, that stops my productivity. That harms my productivity, hinders my productivity. Whereas this way, when you gain this knowledge, then the chances are, okay, they may expect Rolls Royce. At the moment, the way you are getting involved in functioning, you may only get Maruti 800. You understand? But the way Vedanta is saying, when you function, much later, maybe you will get Rolls Royce or you don't get Rolls Royce, you never work for it. But the way you are working dynamically, without anything hindering you, with no expectations or anything, joyfully functioning, the productivity increases. You may be buying a Benz car. These are all only examples. It doesn't matter what car you buy or don't buy. So what I'm trying to say is your performance will be far superior. Slowly, you will go to Rolls Royce and even beyond. Why Rolls Royce? You can even go to helicopter. So the point is this, that world, your family, your boss, they don't give you samsara. Your involvement gives you samsara. This manifestation doesn't give you samsara. Stop blaming this manifestation. Stop blaming the world. What gives you samsara is not understanding and getting involved gives you samsara. Same world is manifestation is there for Vedavit also. He talked about Vedavit. The same world only. He also sits in the same car and goes in the same direction during Delhi. उसको भी यही है. Yesterday, we were going back through this route only, from Alaknanda, took a right turn to go to Faridabad. That turn, when I take right turn where the Ramdad University is there, that road, that just, I don't know, but 1 kilometer it will be? Hardly 1 kilometer. Took us more than half an hour. From GK2 to my house itself should not take more than 25 minutes. On a normal time. The road itself took half an hour. So, whether just because you are going back from Bhagavad Gita class doesn't mean there is no traffic jam for you. For everybody else, there is traffic jam. For you also, there is same traffic jam. The other fellow who's sitting in the car is also same road, everything same. He is mentally disturbed. You are not mentally disturbed. Why? The same world, na? Same manifestation, same road, everything same. How come you are not involved? He is involved. Why you are not involved? You know the big picture. That's all he's saying. Draw this big picture. Understand this. How the whole thing is happening. That moolam, main primary root is not seen. Everybody goes by what is seen, what is manifest, and then they create samsara. If you spend some time sitting and reflecting, understand the whole thing, you will shift your attention from this world to that root. And that is what he's talking about in the next shloka. I thought today I'll start that shloka, but Rajuji asked a question. So we won't do justice if I start now. So I'll start it next week. But this is how the thought flow goes. So many things which we spoke today in the beginning. If you have to listen to it again and again, then you will consolidate. You understand. When they say, see, the thing is, we are in the 15th chapter. And in the Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, already Sri Krishna has mentioned so many things in the previous chapters. How many of us really do our study reflection? I don't know. So we won't follow the thought flow. And then also in the Bhagavad Gita, even this tree example and many things is taken from Upanishads. Right? So then you have to know the concepts. Then it becomes easy to understand what is this tree, branch and all that. So that's why I was talking about that consciousness and everything. How from that this is come? Urdo Moolam Ada Shakam. Okay, fine. How? So that's what I was explaining. That theory of perception that Swami Ramtita says. And you see an object. Right? What is that object? Nothing but qualities. Right? And you are seeing the qualities differently from me. Though we are in Maya, but we are seeing the same world. So where is the quality? In the object or you, the mind? So mind is only projecting that object. So before mind projecting that object, there was nothing outside. You cannot say that. There was consciousness. How do you say that? That is why I said behind the mind consciousness there, behind everybody's mind consciousness is there. That consciousness is not different from other. It's one and the same. Right? It is beyond qualities. So therefore, no beginning, no end. So it is the same consciousness that is beyond the mind as well. Upon that consciousness only, the mind is projecting. How did the mind come about? due to the play of consciousness, action, reaction, the mind comes and the world comes. So from the root, world has come, Ashwatha tree has come. Due to the ignorance of consciousness, the reflected conscious world has come about. Right? And then in this, we continue chasing our desires. The desire and actions continue the samsara. So when we understand this, what will happen? Our attention starts shifting towards that main root, consciousness. To that extent, we stop creating secondary roots. Creating secondary roots slows down. That is how we can get out of samsara. We are in such a hurry now, doing activities, fulfilling our desires, creating so many secondary roots. And then thinking that those people are putting pressure on me, this person is putting pressure on. Nobody is putting pressure on you except your own ignorance. And that's why once you gain this knowledge, nobody can put pressure on you. Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.